Okay, you hesitated, so I won't. I'll keep it.
No, no, no,
I'll
no.
try to keep it to a
No.
PG-13.
All right, all right. We're live now, so everyone heard that.
Wait, so is this
So
like people are going to be in a group watching this, or no? This is separate.
yeah, in my group, yeah. So
Oh,
shout out
geez.
to.
Okay.
So
Well, that's not good.
yes. So everybody, I'm excited to have Robbie on. It's crazy how much you've. I was actually so I'm in Atlanta at my partner's house, Ryan, and he said he met you at J.R. Rebus's first event, and he was like, "Yeah, he wasn't like doing much back then." I remember seeing Andrew like interview you, and it was like from 6K to 15K a month, and now you're like crushing it, dude. So I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, just to let people know like what you're up to or who you are. But all I gotta say is for people listening that Ravi, you've kind of transformed like really fast and scaled, and this is what you're teaching now. So like you walk the talk. So
That's
yeah,
funny, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. First of all, thank you for having me on here. Everyone watching this live, thank you guys for taking time out of the day to watch this. And Daxie, I've been following you for a while now. I was honestly, I don't want to sound cheesy, but kind of honored that you asked me to be on here. I know you take a lot of this stuff really seriously. So, like, some people just like, oh, let me get as many guests as we can on here. I know you're really selective by it. So, I appreciate you even having
especially
me on
lately,
here.
dude. I've been
Yeah,
like
I know. That's what I'm saying.
closing
Like,
more
that's a
events.
huge compliment to me. So, I'm really grateful for it. Anyway, what's going on, everyone? Name's Ravi Abuvala. Got into the online game a while ago. We can get into my backstory a little bit. A while ago is like 14 months ago. And like we can get into my backstory later if you want to. But yeah, where I first, actually, where did you and I first meet?
I think it was on the internet,
Okay.
and
It
then
wasn't,
it
you
was
weren't
at
at JR's
TenxCon.
first event, right?
It was at Grant Cardone's event. Like
Yeah,
he
you
was.
weren't at JR's first event, right?
No, I wasn't.
No, okay, yeah. So, for where I live, I'm like first got my toes really into the online world. I went to an event in Atlanta, Georgia. I was doing like just around like 8 to 10K a month in my agency, but I was also like 14 grand in credit card debt. And it was after 6 months of trying to do the online business, and I was like this close to quitting. I dropped out of a top 10 law school to do this. And then I kind of figured out the right things, like at the right time, hired the right people. And over the past 14 months, I've scaled 5 companies. I have 2 of them on a 7-figure run rate right now, and the other 3 are on a 6-figure run rate. We'll close out the end of this year with my advertising agency just under 5 million. So we're super stoked to kind of do that for all of our partners that we have in that. And like Daxie said a second ago, it's been an insane whirlwind of literally, I mean, the event that we went to was October of last year when I was doing 10K a month. And this month we do multiple 6 figures. So for me, it seems like I expected it and like I was just waiting for it to happen. And like I almost felt like it took too long. But then in other people's eyes, anytime I'm on a podcast or YouTube or any of the times I'm speaking at events now, people are like, wow, that happened really quick. I was having dinner with one of my clients the other night in San Diego, and he was like, wow, you've done a lot. I'm like, I guess in a lot of people's eyes, it's a lot, right? Because it's all relative. But for me, it's like I haven't done enough where I'm at right now. But all that being said, super grateful and blessed to even be at where the point that I'm at right now. And it has been a hell of a whirlwind right now, trying to adjust like where my tax return this year compared to my tax return last year are going to be 2 completely separate animals.
Damn. What's up, Fred? He says right on. If you guys are on live, give me hashtag live. If you're on the replay, give me hashtag replay. I might have to connect you with my buddy, Brad, who handles people when they have a lot of money.
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah, that might
I
be
feel
what I
like
need.
your spirit animal is like a unicorn, dude. You just run fast and you just kind of scale, dude.
I'll take that as a compliment. I've never gotten that before that I'm a unicorn, but you know they're rare and they're beautiful, and I guess I do fall under both those categories. So
Yeah, what's up? Thanks for the live, guys. So I kind of want to make the main focus or the topic of this. We were talking about it a little bit before, just attention and how your personal brand, how it's kind of how integral of a part it was to like. I remember you saying like on Andrew Cruise's stream that in his screen that you can't be like obscure in the start. You have to kind of like show like use your personal profiles, show people who you are and why you're different, etc. So I want to like keep that the main focus. What is your like beliefs right now? Let's start with that. Like with what's changed over the last year and like how is that like what are you doing this present day that's like super important to like your growth?
in branding or just in general or what? Like, how do you want to frame that?
And branding and personal
Yeah.
branding.
Sure. So like even in Andrew Cruzy's live, which like the first time I remember back then, it was like the first time I've ever been like asked to do anything or be on anything before. So I thought it was such a big deal. You know, now I speak at events all over the world, but it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny. But like that was the first time I was spoken somewhere. And the reason why I was being interviewed on that group, just like I am here, was because I hit my first 10K month. And the reason I hit my first 10K month was because I posted on my Facebook a piece of content, a testimonial from one of my clients. And like 95% of the people that followed me on Facebook had no idea anything that I was doing. Keep in mind, I'm a law school dropout. So they had no idea what I was doing, that I was doing an online business or online advertising. And so whenever I posted it, all these people that I was so afraid of that were going to make fun of me ended up actually helping me, liking it, sharing it, DMing me, connecting me with a bunch of their friends that need lead generation online advertising. And that's really when it clicked to me. Like you talk about a year ago to now, that's really when it clicked to me that that branding and like content and like just letting people know what you're doing equals more money, right? It's very hard. I was originally in the digital marketing business, and then it was really hard to prove, hey, because I created this content for you and ran these ads to this like video, you got more money, right? It's really hard to prove that. And I think I have a full-time creative director now that literally lives with me. And that's like, I hear him all the time. Like that's the hardest selling point when you're in digital marketing. And so instead of me trying to go down that further, I just said, you know what, I'm going to switch to lead generation where I'm getting you full name, email, phone number. And I know for sure 100% that because I ran this ad, you're making money, you're getting a closing, you're having someone walk into your office, whatever it is. So I kind of chickened out. So I have a lot of respect for a lot of people in here that are doing the content creation, digital marketing, like branding route that you're selling as a service, because it's difficult to sell and it's difficult to track ROI on. And I'm the first to admit that. So kudos to everyone watching this. I chickened out. I went straight to lead generation where I could be like, hey, because you paid me, I got this person's name and this person paid you $10,000. And that's why you can pay me $4,000, right? So that's the route I ended up going. But that first post on my Facebook totally transformed everything for me. And then actually where Daxie and I met was at Grant Cardone's 10X event in Miami, Florida in February. And he talked about it as well. Like money follows attention, right? And I remember he put up a graph of like his revenue, monthly revenue in his company, and also the amount of searches he has a month on Google or something like that. And they literally were almost identical, kind of scaling up like that. And every sign pointed towards branding being more important to me. And then I had a dinner. I spoke at an event with Paul Getter, who works with Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins. I mean, he spends like $15 million a month on ads. And we had dinner together in New York. And he was like, you should be investing minimum 50 grand a year into your personal brand, whether that's having videographers, paid ads to get followers, whatever it is. And when he said it, he had 1 million followers on Instagram. I'm just like, all right, this is it. So from there, I hired a full-time creative director who literally lives with me. My content game has been insane. We put out at least a video a day, if not 2 to 3. My ads have been awesome. And it's just like, I keep on investing back into my brand, and I just keep on seeing my monthly income increase. So it's really where it switched in my mind was that there's not going to be a clear and direct ROI from investing back in your personal brand. But if you're smart enough, you'll realize like, okay, because I have a strong personal brand, I spoke at this event. Because I spoke at this event, I sold 50 grand from stage. So technically the 50 grand from stage came from my personal brand. So it all plays into each other. And I truly believe that when the recession hits or a correction or whatever it is, your personal brand is going to be the thing that carries you through. And these are all things that if you're watching this and you're a content director, like this is stuff I'll be writing down because I'm your target market for maybe some of you guys. But like, I think a personal brand during the recession is going to be what carries you through where everyone else is like weak and everyone else is pulling back. You have a super strong personal brand that time. I think that's going to allow you to not only survive, but thrive.
Yeah, I love that. There's a few key points there that I want to touch on. I think you did it the right way, actually. It's actually better to start off getting results because then that will speak for yourself. That becomes your brand, and then you can piggyback off that. When you just start, a lot of people like they're great at producing content, but they don't have the results, and it's harder for people to like. They don't know why they should listen to you. You know?
Sure, that's exactly what it is. I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, and I think it's especially when you are the brand, like a lot of the business, like you're the face of it. Like it's like if a business marketed themselves. Like as an entity, that's the same thing you're doing essentially. So,
but it's more fun. It's like more fun and it's more personable. Like there are people who want to do business with me. Like I can put out whatever service or product. You know, you and I both know Joel Kaplan. I got a compliment on like every day I get a message because my course in my program, that's part of my program. Like I am so offhanded and I have so much like color commentary and you know how weird I am. And I put it in my course personally because I like to show that. And I love that I get paid to do that. And so people always go on here like, I love watching your videos and courses, and I actually pay attention because it's entertaining. And I posted about how I get that all the time and how I take it as a huge compliment. And Joel Kaplan was the one that told me, he said, people don't buy programs, they buy coaches. Like that's your people are buying into you, who you are as a service provider or a coach or an expert or a consultant. And so I literally said at the barbershop yesterday when I was getting my haircut, he was like, so you pay to like get ads for people to follow you, and you pay to have like your creative director with you all the time? And I'm like, yeah, because it's really like I'm getting paid to be myself is really what it kind of comes down to. And that's why we live in an incredible time now where it's like you don't need to have a business brand like Coca-Cola to make a whole lot of money. You can brand yourself, and then any business, like I said, I have five companies. Any business that I spin off of me is almost instantly going to be not successful, but getting traction because I'm able to blast out to hundreds of thousands of people on day one. Hey, here's my new business. I think this might be able to help you. And then we get sales from day one.
It's like you keep that. If people trust you, it doesn't go anywhere.
Exactly.
It doesn't go anywhere. And it's hard to quantify. I think you were saying that earlier. Like,
yeah.
I've done when I first started, I was doing interviews every day, dude. Like on my personal profile. But that was so impactful for me, kind of building kind of some cred in the community because I kept showing up like next to people, so that people started trusting me and knowing me. And then they eventually started liking me, and then I started working with people, and then it kind of blew it from there. But yeah, like I've learned like people buy from people. Like that's why some people could charge more. It's because who they are, not necessarily like what they do.
It's insane. And it's not that hard to produce content. Like it's not. It's really not. Like it's just you have to make it a priority. Like, and that's all it is for us. Like I just made it a priority, and people make fun of like Jeff and I for investing back in our Instagram and doing paid ads and shout outs and whatever it is, which I could literally care less about what anybody else thought. But I remember Jeff was telling me yesterday, he's like, someone messaged me like, oh, I can't believe you do paid shout outs. And he's like, yeah, do you have a hard time believing I reinvest into a business that generates me $350,000 a month? Like, yeah, of course I'm going to keep on putting money back into it again. So, people see some of this like content. That's just a discrepancy, right? People see a lot of content, how they perceive content in the sense of, oh, they're just trying to be famous. They're just trying to drive nice cars, whatever it is. But what people aren't actually realizing is that we're producing this content to promote our business. So it's just like another market of another avenue of advertising for us. And so the issue is a lot of people just think like, oh, if I was just buying followers to just like, have, I don't know, because of my social, I just want to like, because I have a hard childhood and I just want more people to be following me, then maybe. But I'm doing it because the followers that I have are getting value out of my content and thus becoming customers or clients.
Gotcha. Is my volume low, by the way? Someone said I have low volume.
That's so much louder right now. You just went all the way back up.
Let's go, dude. We just turned up. Whoa. Cool. So I'm curious. I've been seeing you like, how many podcast interviews are you doing now?
Oh God, we do like 3 a week right now. Honestly, I typed my name in on Spotify for the first time the other day, and I was like, I just never even noticed how many.
Have you typed in Google your name?
I did it earlier. I did it earlier when I was writing that email blast. What I was telling Daxie literally right before we started this was I just literally right before I got on here, I posted something on my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and email blast about lead generation and coupling it with content and personal branding. And so I Googled my name because I was part of the email. And yeah, it's just like 8 pages of articles, YouTube videos, podcasts. It's unreal. And then my websites, obviously, it's crazy.
Yeah. What has been the biggest benefit for you, like from doing all these interviews, like being on the other side?
For me, the truth of the matter, I'm going to be honest with you and everyone watching this right now. I have been asked to start a podcast like 100 times, right? And Daxie, him and I even talked about me starting a podcast.
Yeah, that was at 10X. You mentioned that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I wanted to do. But for me, then I realized I'm just going to just lay it all out for everyone here. Like, why should I go through all the hard work of starting and running a podcast? Because it's a whole nother business that's very hard to monetize. Like, it's actually kind of difficult to monetize a podcast when I can just hop on other people's podcasts and leverage their audience and then have essentially the same effect on it as it is. So like for me, I was like, you know what, instead of doing all the hard work, I'll just leverage someone else's hard work because that's what I'm all about is leverage. I'll leverage someone else's hard work and get on there and have access to their audience as well. So for me, it's just been further reach for my mission, my objective, more clients, adding more value. It's just a really easy way to do it because it's like, Everyone, I've listened to your podcast. Actually, I know everyone that's in this group has listened to it. Everyone that's in the Facebook group gets value out of you. And then when you invite me here as like an interviewee on your podcast and your Facebook group, I'm instantly seen as a credibility and authority with all of these people here because they trust you and you trust me. And so it's like, well, boom, now I just got, let's just say 10% of a loyal following that now transfers over to my Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email list, whatever it is, or maybe even become clients. So for me, Grant Cardone talks about the only reason you're not making more money is because of obscurity, right? Not enough people know who you are and what you do. And that was the biggest turning point in my entire life was when I realized like I was trying to create a business, but I was so afraid the business was going to fail that I didn't want to tell anybody about it. So I tried to scale a business without having anybody know that I had a business. And it was just impossible. And so now it's like any freaking chance that I get to promote my business, like I will do it 100% of the time. And that's the biggest difference for me. And that's what podcasts have really allowed me to do, just a free medium in order to do that.
Gotcha. Cool. I mean, I would rebuttal that you can't monetize from a podcast, but I'm biased.
No, and you're right. And you can. And you totally can. Let me just rephrase that.
It would have to be unique to your situation.
Yeah, and you have the perfect setup. You have the perfect setup. What I'm talking about is I get on podcasts with people and they invite me on there and they have a good following. And I'm like, so what are you doing for money? And he's like, oh, well, I'm 50 grand in debt, but like I'm trying to monetize this pod. So I'm like, but do you have a service connection to the podcast? So like, well, not yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like people that
you got to have a core offer. And then
exactly that comes. Yeah. The podcast is an addition to the core offer. I'm like, you are getting people on here that obviously believe in personal branding and podcasting and like advertising, and so you should have something on the back end to sell those people after you've got them in. If you're just you're 100% right. I phrased that wrong. If you're just networking, like, oh, I just want to do a podcast so I can start meeting important people. Well, if you meet important people and you have no value add to them, like you can't give them value anyway, well, then there's no freaking point of even meeting them in the first place. So you have it down like a freaking science. I will say that. And the people that have a service or product to give in addition to the podcast, they're doing it very smart. My issue is when people don't have any money, they don't have a business, and they think starting a podcast is going to make them rich. That was what I was talking about.
Yeah. It's because it's a long-term commitment too. It
is a long-term commitment, just like personal branding is as well. But I personal brand in addition to the money that I have for my other businesses, and it plays into my other businesses and feeds my other businesses. If I just had like a YouTube, like I was saying before, if I just had an Instagram with 100,000 followers on it, but I had no product or service, like I know Instagram influencers with millions of followers that live in like a 400 square foot apartment and drive like a jalopy. Like they have no money whatsoever. Yeah. They have no way of monetizing.
Content exists at the bottom of the value ladder. It's not like it's anyone could do it. It's not a like unique service. So you have to be able to assemble.
And that's a scary part too, right? Like that's a scary part is like a lot of people are taking advice and information.
They're like, Gary Vee says, publish every day. Cool. It's not going to make you money.
It's really not. Like you have to have something on the back end. And like, that's just the biggest mistake I see people do in the content game is like, they're putting up stuff every single day, but they just have no way to monetize it. And then it's like, okay, well, you're going to have to work for someone else or you're just going to go broke. And for me, everything plays into each other. And I'm so happy and lucky and blessed. And whether I planned it out or not, I don't know, but I'm just happy that when I do stuff like this, whenever people hit me up, how can I work with you further, Ravi? I'm like, well, boom, 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 boom. I can tell you right here. That's the point.
Yeah, I'm glad we touched on this. If you guys we got 7 people here. Give me #live. I want to touch on, because this is like important for everything we talked about. And I know like you're good at this, is like high performance and all of like the routines and habits you have around that. Because it doesn't like directly like it's not attention, but it's what a lot of people don't do, but it's so important. Like having your morning routine and like the mindset, everything. Can you kind of touch on that? And like what are your core pillars for?
Yeah, no. And I think everything plays into everything, right? So like I wouldn't be able to run 5 businesses like and produce content every single day and post every single day unless I was performing on all cylinders. Like if I was like lazy and lethargic and like smoking weed and drinking every single day, I just wouldn't be able to do that. So because I add these in, like the core principles, the foundation of my daily routine allows me to do like more in these past 14 months than people have done in 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? It's just because I do that for myself. But yeah, for me, like every single one of our clients, they get a book called The Slight Edge. If you're listening to this right now, I really, really recommend you get it. We give it as a gift to every single one of our clients. But
The Slight Edge? Let me check that out.
The Slight Edge. So it's like the compound effect. Jeff Olson is the founder of The Slight Edge, and a lot of people have read The Compound Effect, but that's actually written by his mentee. So the guy that wrote the Compound Effects learned from Jeff Olson, who wrote the Slight Edge. But the concept behind the whole thing is that it's small daily disciplines over time. They result in either that swing up, that monumental growth, or they'll result in that swing down, that monumental loss. And so he says, easy to do, but also easy not to do, right? So easy to wake up and go to the gym, but it's also easy not to wake up and go to the gym. It's easy to eat clean, healthy, plant-based diet, but it's super easy not to do that as well. And so it's just those small decisions you make every single day that, like, daily, weekly, and monthly, you really don't notice the difference. But then all of a sudden, it's either going to go up or it's going to go down. And then you're going to blink your eyes and you're either running multiple companies, earning 7 figures, like have a huge following, or you're going to be like living on your mom's couch, overweight, like, lazy, and don't have an idea for your future. And you're going to like, how did that happen? But if you trace back, right, like Gary Vee talks about, show me your 24 hours. I'm going to show you where you're going to be or whatever it is. So it's like, if you trace back how you spend the past 3, 6, 9, 12 months, then you can kind of connect the dots for it. And that's why when people go like, wow, like you've done so much in 14 months, 18 months. And it's just like, I mean, I guess so, I have, but it was really like, I expected it to happen because I've just, for the past 14 months, I've been doing the right stuff every single day. And it's just really been the past 5, 6 months that we've been like seeing that huge tail up curve. And even like daily, like we did a 500K hard where we had to make $500,000 before we were going to like drink or do anything or go out or like, working out twice a day. And like, I just finished it a few days ago. We finished it about 58 days. And like, even a few days after the 500K hard, we're going out. We went to Las Vegas. Like, we were celebrating for a few days. And like, within 2 days, I felt myself going back down on the Slight Edge. Like, I felt myself going the opposite way. And I knew like, this isn't going to hurt me now. It's not going to hurt me in 7 days or even a month, but 3, 6, 9 months from now, this is going to affect me. And so instantly I'm like, all right, I'm done with it. No more drinking, no more nothing. I'm back to the hard grind again. So it's just being crazy aware of your daily disciplines and then just making sure that they're on that Slight Edge up instead of Slight Edge down.
That's sick, dude. 58 days. Damn, dude. Congrats, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was actually like 56, it's 56, 57. But yeah, it was pretty insane, honestly. It's crazy what happens when you set a goal and you tell everybody about it.
I saw you guys in Vegas. I'm like, you deserve that shit, dude. Like, that's
Vegas was dumb, man. We flew out at like 8 o'clock at night and came back at like 9 o'clock in the morning. It was just, didn't sleep. It was unreal. But that was the first time I went out in like 90 days. So
Daniel Lizarazo, you know him. He says, what's up?
Daniel, my man. What's up, brother? Good to see you.
Yes, dude. So like, what are like, I like that, by the way. I'm going to read that book, like, cause it could go
really
extreme. It can go either extreme in your life, dude. But like, it just builds up and you don't even know. What is like the biggest thing that you currently do right now that kind of gives you that slight edge, you think? That's like so important to you. That's like your ritual.
I would say for me is exercising. Exercising for me is like that. It's like my foundation, right? Like even if it's like a crummy workout or like I just go on a run or I just go on a walk, whatever it is, like if I can do my workout every single day, I know everything else is going to follow. I'm going to do my meditation after my workout. I'm going to write in my journal. I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to wake up early. Like I just know everything else is going to happen. And then reading before I go to bed, like what's the gentleman's name? Not Andy Frisella, but Ed Milet. He talks about like, he has a really great book too called, I forget what it is. It's a small little pamphlet, but it's essentially, he says, if you can control the beginning of your day and if you can control the end of the day, then you're going to have some semblance of control over the middle of the day. And if anybody on here is an entrepreneur, you know that like as soon as you open up your Facebook or email or whatever it is, you're just putting out fires all day long. And so if you can control what happens, like I don't even touch my email, my phone, text messages, phone calls, Instagram, Facebook until 9 a.m. every single morning. I do not touch it. Like, and that allows me to focus on myself, on the meditation, on the big vision beforehand, and then I let the world come at me. So honestly, exercise for me in some form or the other, whether it's yoga, walking, running, cardio, lifting weights, if I can get that down on a daily basis, everything else falls into place for me.
Something you got to push through every day.
Yeah, it's just a challenge of the win. And it's also like I make my bed as soon as I wake up in the morning. There's another really great book called Make Your Bed by the old ex-admiral of the U.S. Navy. And he just talks about like, if you can make your bed first thing in the morning as soon as you wake up, like it's a small win, but that win, as soon as you do that, you're like, great, I already accomplished something today. I've been awake for 30 seconds, right? So that just adds on to the other wins later on down the road. And so I've been making my bed every single day for over 2 years now.
Yeah. I've been waking up every day at 5:30 for the past 3 weeks. I found the hack. I've been trying to do this for a while. There's an app called Alarmy, and they you don't set an alarm. It's they call it missions. So you can't turn the alarm off unless you scan a barcode, and I put the barcode at the other side of my house. So literally, I can't turn my phone off. I can't do anything. Like I just can't. So that's helped me like solve the problem. Because like for the first few nights, I try to sleep through it for the first 20 minutes. It just wouldn't happen. Like it did, like the pain was just too much. I was like, let me just go turn this off. And when you're up, like you're just like, fuck it. I'm up.
And at that point, you're like, I might as well start. And that's the thing. Like people think like I have this like incredible self-control, whatever it is. Like, look, if you put like a bag of Doritos like next to my bed and like you allow me to sleep in, I'm gonna sleep in. Like I really don't have a whole lot of self-discipline. Sometimes I have to force myself to do it. So I mean, I didn't take it as extreme as Daxi, but like I did put my phone on the other side. I live in a 5,000 square foot house, so it's a pretty big room. I put my phone on the other side of my room. That's like a 10-foot walk over to get it whenever in the morning. And that had to happen for the very beginning of it because I had to like motivate myself and force myself to get up and do it. So whenever I have to start a new habit of getting up early, I have to do something like that. And then it just falls into place. But like I'm all plant-based diet right now. I've been doing that for about 10 days now. And like, you know, it's hard sometimes because I live with Jeff and Justin and all these other guys who eat meat like crazy. And so like my discipline is tested every single day. And there's been studies that show that you have finite willpower, meaning you only have a certain reserve of willpower in your body. And so like, that's why it's important that you conserve your willpower. That's why like decision making, like I wear the same clothes to work out in. I wear almost the same clothes every single day. I eat the same food every single day because I'm saving my willpower, my decision making to whenever I'm like walking into WeWork and there's that donut shop and the donuts like hit my nose and I'm like, oh my God.
Dude, it's the dopamine, bro. Like
it really is.
Like I mean, all the important stuff, you get dopamine. It's just not immediate. It's like
that's exactly.
It lasts longer, but it's not immediate.
It's not immediate. Yeah. And unfortunately, the society we live in today, drugs, alcohol, like social media, whatever it is, fuels an instant gratification kind of mindset and feedback.
Anyone could fall for it. You just got to kind of control your environment so you don't fall for it.
And that's why I try to make everything so systemized and repeatable so that I save my willpower for the really hard stuff that I need to have willpower on, like not blowing up on employees or not getting upset when Facebook shuts down my ad account or whatever else it is. I'm just like, all right, I can figure out a way through this, and this is what it is. These are the next steps.
Cool. Fred said you can do that with Alexa. It goes back to your why. If you have a big enough why, you don't need an alarm. No, I need an alarm, dude.
That's impressive. I've heard that before. I read somewhere someone's like, I don't need my alarm. My why wakes me up. Like, look, good for you, but I have a pretty big why, and like, you know, I'll sleep in.
When I wake up, my why is just like fucking sleep, dude. Yeah. So cool. How do you educate yourself? Like you say you read before you sleep. Is there anything you do? Like do you have routines or formats you like to learn?
As far as education is concerned?
Yeah. I know you do it like you're in a mastermind.
Yeah. So like, I mean, masterminds, courses, programs, like investing in that. I just invested into a 40K one like about a month ago. One of the best investments I've ever made. So like doing your research and joining masterminds, like even the first time I really started making money, like that first JR Rivas mastermind, I met my future coach there. I met a bunch of friends there, the guys I live with there. So I think investing in a mastermind is absolutely critical, but a lot of people here might not have the money to invest in masterminds or programs. And so for me, I was reading personal development books back before personal development books were cool, right? Like high school, I was reading How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich, and people used to make fun of me on it. But like if you don't have a lot of money, if you don't have like $15 to buy a book, then you have bigger problems in your life. But for me, what I do is like, in the morning while I'm getting ready before I meditate, I actually, as soon as I wake up, I put my AirPods in and I open up YouTube and I listen to Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Les Brown, any of the big guys in the game, Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, and I let them like just get me stoked up and ready for the day and educate me. And then at nighttime, I actually read a book on a topic that I need to work on. So right now we're investing in real estate. I'm doing a lot of tax savings as well, like how to not avoid taxes, but get tax deductions. And so like anything that I need to learn more on, I read or I listen to YouTube videos on it. And both of those things cost almost $0. I mean, I don't even do the paid YouTube. I do free YouTube. So I hear ads in the middle of it. And then the books are almost dirt cheap, or you can go to a local library. So there's no reason why anybody listening to this shouldn't be investing in their education that way. And then once you actually start making money, you can reinvest it back and get into like coaching programs or masterminds or whatever else it is.
Yeah. So I kind of want to just to kind of like the last half of this podcast, I want to go over because right now you're really helping people with their systems and scaling. And I kind of want to just to tie it into if you want to be more high performing, you have to have more time and like not always be putting out fires. So for people who aren't, I'm assuming a lot of people who are like listening to me, not all of them have agencies. They don't all have client facing businesses. Some of them are starting out. Some have big audiences. They're trying to figure out how to monetize. So they're like evolving. Like, what are some of for someone who's never hired a VA? Like, what would you explain to them first? And like, what are the first things they can do to like implement a VA? Like, what are the highest leverage tasks they can like have someone start doing?
Yeah, so great question. So what Daxi is essentially referring to, I have a scaling with systems program where we take all types of entrepreneurs. We have plenty of creative agencies and contents and influencers. I have advertising agencies, any real estate agents, whatever it is. But pretty much we take them, systemize, automate, and eliminate like 80% of their business that allows them the freedom to actually grow their business. You can spend more time creating content, traveling, doing podcasts, speaking events, et cetera, et cetera. And we also place with them a virtual assistant that's fully trained from our team for $2.50 an hour.
Yeah. And so you actually live this. Like, how many hours a week do you work?
Yeah, I mean, right now I work like it just depends. Like it depends if you count.
Well, you're
like,
doing more content
work, right?
now, but yeah.
Yeah, so now my full focus is content. Like all I do is create content. I have a content room. I just speak at events and I do content. All of my
you can never automate that really. Like
no, it's just hard to, right? And like I delegate like 90% of it. Even that, like I have a creative director. He lives with me. Like I'm just have to shoot videos, or he pretty much shoots them and edits them. I just have to speak. At this point, all I do is speak. Like that's really all I do. Which is what I love, right? That's what I love to do, as you can tell. But like you can't outsource or automate like the actual content side of it, like Instagram captions. I'd never do that. In emails, I'd never do that. Like the actual videos, I would never do that. But you can do everything else so that you can do more of that. So like that's what we essentially do. If you're listening to this right now, whether you're just starting, you have a huge audience, whatever it is, like some of the biggest things we've done for either influencers or creative agencies or like, number one, we follow 3 steps. Very, very simple. It's called automate or eliminate, automate, delegate. And so like first thing is to automate majority of the things in your life. I don't check email. Do you want to say something? It looks like you want to say something.
No, I just noticed your name says Ravi Abuvala.
Money Abuvala. Yeah, I put it in there.
Yeah, that's
one of my clients actually gave me a plaque that says Ravi Money Abuvala. It's in every one of my YouTube videos. Anyway, yeah, that's hilarious that you just saw that. But so we talk about automate or eliminate, automate, delegate. Excuse me, eliminate, automate, delegate. And so like eliminate, a lot of people will automate or delegate inefficient stuff in their life. And just because you automate or delegate it, just because you give it to somebody else doesn't mean that it's any less inefficient. Now you're just paying someone else to do something inefficient in your life. So we eliminate, like I haven't checked email in over 6 months. I eliminate like doing custom work for multiple clients. I eliminate doing multiple industries or multiple offers. I eliminate bad people out of my life. I eliminate bad clients out of my life. I eliminate answering phone calls that I don't have the number for. I eliminate text messages that or anything that's people think are an emergency, but I just leave them on red. Like I just don't answer them back because I know it's not an emergency. And people listen to this like, oh my God, you're so rude or whatever it is. Like it depends on what your priorities are. Like most of the time, if I had a nickel for every time someone emailed me and said, hey, let's grab lunch, I'd love to learn more about what you do. Like all I would be doing was getting nickels and eating lunch. Like that's all I would be doing. But instead I'm trying to grow an empire here. So we eliminate a lot of stuff. Eliminate like pieces of content that your audience doesn't really care about. Like that's the other stuff as well. We were doing some screen share stuff on our YouTube and just no one was watching it. And so we just eliminated it out of there. And then we automate a lot of stuff in our agency. So lead generation, we automate proposals. We automate like Instagram. We used to do follow. Obviously we don't do that anymore. But we automate like transcriptions. We automate a lot of other stuff. And then the fun one for me is delegation, right? The stuff you can eliminate, the stuff you can't automate, you have to delegate. I like overseas employees like the Philippines because you can pay them 100th of what you pay US-based employees. They still have a really great like quality of life, and you don't have to pay taxes or health insurance or get sued or whatever it is. But for us, like we use VAs or some of the creative guys, we use VAs for transcribing their videos. My creative director uses it for all of our videos are done by our virtual assistants. They do all the editing for it. They do Facebook group admin tasks. They message people that like or comment on my Instagram or Facebook and say, hey, why did you like or comment on it? What stuff would you like to learn more of? They message people on YouTube as well. So it's just like, it just gives you the power to have more free time to make more impactful decisions versus if you're the one that's shooting videos and then editing videos and then posting the videos and then engaging with all the comments and then responding with all the DMs, like you just don't have enough time to, as I would, because I'm able to actually just create more videos every single day. So like you just have to realize how much your time is worth. And like if your time is worth, they say in the United States, the average business owner should be charging $250 an hour. Which, for some people might be a lot, for some people that might not be anything. But so if you just, let's say $250 an hour, it takes you 4 hours to edit the video that you shot, and you can pay someone in the Philippines $10 to edit that video for you. Like, why would you not do that, right? Once you break it down, although you might see it as you're losing 10, even if it was $50, like you might see it as you're losing $50. In reality, you're actually making $150 by spending your time that way. That allows you to create more videos, get on more sales calls, enjoy time with family, travel, whatever it is. So it's just kind of a mindset shift from being what Michael Gerber in the E-Myth calls a technician to being an actual entrepreneur.
Yeah. The education system doesn't teach that.
Not even
the biggest leverageable thing in your business. Like our whole like margin is based off of that. Like if we had to hire US-based people,
sad.
Yeah. It's because it's not beneficial to the country to teach that, like how to hire.
Sure, but arguably it is, right? It's like because
True.
I'm able, like because I have that, I have 13 employees, right? And half of them are in the Philippines, and half of them are in the UK, US, and Canada. So like because I have my Filipino employees that I pay that amount for, generating our team like 100 appointments a week, my US-based sales guys are able to make. One of my guys made 30 grand last month. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, because they're doing their job, it allows me to pay someone in the US 30 grand. So most people see the world as this like zero sum, like dichotomy where it's like, well, if you're giving money to the Philippines, you're not giving to the United States. Well, it's like, well, if I didn't give money to the Philippines, I wouldn't even have enough money to give to the United States. And then I wouldn't even have business, and that wouldn't be contributing to the other jobs I'm giving the United States. So you just have to change your perspective on it. And like, the largest businesses in the world that you guys, if you sat here and said, oh, I can't believe he's using these Filipino workers instead of US-based ones. Okay, well then stop buying Apple products. Whatever you're watching this on, stop using Amazon. You can't use Amazon Prime anymore. No more American Express. No more Dell computers. No more Microsoft. I mean, the places that
don't call customer support for like any
customer support anywhere, or email support, or chat support. Like you just live in your little bubble. And so you can either be the person that's like, oh, US-based only, or you can see that we live in a global economy. And because you're able to do that over there, you're also able to help the US-based economy as well.
Yeah. What are some like people who've gone through your program, scaling with systems? Like, what are some like cool results you can share, or like transformations that people have had?
I have to text my creative director and say, bring my charger. Yeah, man, it's been actually pretty insane. So we've taken 4 personal brands to a 6-figure a month mark, not including my own, which has been pretty incredible. Whether that's consultings or agencies or creative agencies as well. So like we've taken 4 people to 6 figures a month. So essentially 7 figures. One person's about to hit 8 figures. I've taken over 18 agencies to 6 figures total that they've actually recorded back to us. But some of the biggest ones we've had, Jeff Seckinger makes over $250,000 a month. He uses 4 virtual assistants. He was one of the first persons to go through our program. He uses 4 virtual assistants from us, and we helped him automate. I actually taught him a bunch of stuff while we were in Medellin, Colombia. He taught me my financial stuff. I taught him how to automate and scale his company. Yeah, when we were living down there. I lived there for 4 months. And then on top of it,
for 4 months, damn.
Yeah, I was there for a while. Then I went on a whole 3-month tour around the United States. I went snowboarding, Vegas, all that kind of stuff as well. But I've had another guy make $18,000 in his first 3 days in our program as well. Like for me, it's not even like when I say money, that's just because you guys are like, oh, that's nice, the money. The stuff that really gets me excited, like Raj Dua, he bought a first-class flight for every single one of his family members and his girlfriend to go to a chalet in the Swiss Alps for New Year's Eve. Like, you guy wasn't making $2,000 a month 90 days ago. Now he's flying everyone first class to live in the Swiss Alps for New Year's Eve. Taylor Lawrence, he is a father of 4, and he just messaged me the other day. He's like, I am in the line. This was right during Halloween. He's like, I'm in the line with my kids. I spent all day Halloween shopping. I can't remember the last time I was able to spend the entire Halloween with my kids going shopping, costumes, and then doing trick-or-treating. And we also closed $10,000 worth of sales today, and I wasn't even involved in the whole process. And he was like, thank you for giving that to me. So for me, it's not even the financial gains that we get out of it. For me, it's actually the time that I give a lot of these people back, the quality of life that we're able to give a lot of people back when they're able to automate, eliminate, and delegate their business. Then you can, like, everyone gets into business for a reason. Like, they want to travel the world, they want to make money passively, they want to invest in something else. Like, and most people end up working in it as a job, except for, guess what? There's no benefits, there's no security. And if you actually divide the amount of money you're making a month by the amount of hours that you're working, you're probably getting paid less than a McDonald's employee. And so this is like, you're actually getting all of that money, that freedom back, which makes your time worth more, which means you're making more money. And it's kind of just like that feedback loop that's just incredible. So that's what I really get my kicks out of, honestly, is like seeing people's lives change, not just financially, which we've had plenty of success in, but also as far as like time with family, coming home for dinner, you know, spending time with their kids, traveling the world, saving your marriage, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's just so important. Like, that's what I'm focusing on more and more every day. Like, because otherwise, like, the business works you, dude. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's scary. Like, it's just really scary that people don't realize it. Like, and that's a great way to put it. The business will, if you don't work the business is going to work you. And that's just the truth of the matter. And I just see it every day. I see it in my brother. I see it in my mom. Like, it's just, and like, people think you have to grind, but like, you just work smart. I still work 60-hour weeks, guys. Heads up. I still work 60-hour weeks. The difference is, I'm only doing like 4 hours of maintaining work, making sure everything's working good. The rest of it is me speaking at events, getting on podcasts, doing videos, learning more about YouTube ads so I can make more money in the long run.
Yeah, which money is time, essentially.
Money is time. Time is money is exactly what it is. Like, that's literally what it comes down to. And so for us, you just have to value it a little bit more. And that's what the people in my program, like, people join us, they do it because they want more time, and thus they're going to make more money from it.
So before you wrap up, like, who is it for? Like, what kind of people would it benefit?
So anybody that's looking to build a brand, right? Anybody that's looking to build a business. So we don't necessarily work with somebody who doesn't have any idea what business they want to run. Like, if you're coming in here and you're like, hey, I just want to make money, this might not be the right program for you. Who we help is like people that already have an idea of the fulfillment side of it. They already know what to do in order to deliver results for their people, but they just need to essentially scale it and grow it, or they already have an established business already. So whether that's you're a creative agency, whether that's you're an influencer, you're doing e-commerce, agency work, SEO, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, you have a real estate business, real estate investor, it doesn't matter. If you're looking for more time and you're looking for more money and you already have an idea of what your service or product is going to be, we're going to be the right fit for you, barring a few other factors as well. So, I mean, you guys can check me out. I'm sure Dax will drop down my information down below.
Yeah. What's the website?
Yeah. So you can just type my first and last name.com. So Ravi Abuvala, not money. That's not my legal middle name. But if you just type in RAVI,
domain, dude.
I actually should, honestly, but Ravi, RAVIABUVALA.com.
So you say you're Ravi? That's how you.
So it's spelled RAVI like Ravi, but it's actually Ravi like RUVI. So Ravi.
I've been saying Ravi.
I know, dude. I have my freaking mom still says it wrong. Everyone still says it wrong from the beginning. It doesn't bother me at all. As long as you're talking to me, man, I don't really care what you call me. To be
money, Ravi.
Yeah, or just money. You can call me Money. That's the other name that people call me as well.
Yeah. Well, Ravi rhymes with money now, actually. Ravi,
it does. Well, also, and then when I'm like talking to girls, I tell them that it rhymes with lovey as well. So.
Ooh, lovey-dovey. All right. All right, cool, dude. We'll wrap up here. I hope you guys got some value. If you got some value, reach out to Ravi. Dang, now I got to change it. Reach out to him on Instagram. You follow him. What's your handle?
Yeah, man. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is. Or go to the website. You'll see. You can check out a video. I go to a lot more training. Actually, if you guys want to see how we create trainings for our employees, how we create standard operating procedures for our employees, you can actually go to raviabuvala.com/SOP-training. And Dax, I'm sure, can drop it in there as well. And that'll actually give you what we give our clients in our course on how they can actually start delegating out a lot of the work in their business.
Gotcha. Cool. Sweet. I'm going to copy this. Sweet, man. Appreciate you being on. Hopefully you can do round 2 sometime in the future.
I know. I'd love to see where we both are in like 3-6 months. That'd be awesome.
Oh, dude. Some cool stuff lined up. But yeah, man. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I'm going to end the broadcast. You can stay on, bro. I'm going to end it here.